number have received it.
Okay, what happened? Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live in living color Sunday, the 26th of February, the last weekend of the month, where we get a chance to come together to celebrate African history. No. So, so I just want to welcome everyone for being here with us. This is the Institute of Holistic Health, Hattie's Chat. And this is a space where we are inviting people to come every month, and it may be every week pretty soon, to get all of your questions answered around health, mindset, spirituality. So we had a guest, Elder Brother C.B. Madu, who was going to step in to do a grounding for us. And I am anticipating his arrival. So I'm going to attempt to bring him in and see if we can have him bless us in. C.B. Madu is the elder of the African village in Chicago. And he wanted to really ground us, put us in a space of bringing our ancestors forward. So let's see if we can get him to do that. Brother Siwi?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Angel Bliss, can you hear Brother Siwi? Siwi, talk, please.
Yes, can you hear me?
Bliss, can he be heard? Okay. I don't think you can. So what I will do, Brother Siwi, I will repeat for the audience your blessing. So as you speak, I will repeat it. So talk to me.
I'm starting. Oh, ancestors.
Oh, ancestors.
Blacker than 1,000 midnights.
Blacker than 1,000 midnights.
It is to you.
It is to you.
That we, your children.
That we, your children.
Give respect and honor.
Give respect and honor.
We call upon you.
We call upon you.
And welcome you in this place.
And welcome you in this place.
African ancestors.
African ancestors.
Let your presence fill this place.
Let your presence fill this place.
Oh, ancestors.
Oh, ancestors.
Who have been purposely excluded.
Who have been perfectly excluded
from the history books.
From the history books.
So that the world would not know.
So that the world would not know
of your greatness.
Of your greatness.
Our African ancestors.
Our African ancestors.
Who gave civilization to the world.
Who gave civilization to the world.
Who gave arts to the world.
Who gave arts to the world.
Who gave music to the world.
Who gave music to the world.
Who gave the sciences to the world.
Who gave sciences to the world.
Who gave mathematics to the world.
Who gave mathematics to the world.
Our African ancestors.
Our African ancestors.
Who gave medicine to the world.
Who gave medicine to the world.
Who gave literature to the world.
Who gave literature to the world.
Who gave philosophy to the world.
Who gave philosophy to the world.
Our African ancestors.
Our African ancestors.
Who gave God consciousness.
Who gave God consciousness to the world.
Oh, ancestors.
Oh, ancestors.
We thank you.
We thank you
for devoting your life.
For devoting your life.
To make a future for us.
To make a future for us.
Your children.
Your children.
Grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
And great grandchildren.
And great grandchildren.
Now stand with us.
Now stand with us.
Strengthen us.
Strengthen us.
Guide us.
Guide us.
Teach us.
Teach us.
And protect us
And protect us
from the snare of our enemies. Rise up, O African ancestors.
Rise up, O African ancestors.
And let our enemies be scattered. And give us the wisdom.
And give us the wisdom.
The knowledge and love.
The knowledge and love.
Rise up, O African ancestors.
Rise up, O African ancestors.
And live in us.
And live in us.
And we will not fail to honor you.
And we will not fail to honor you.
We will not fail to respect you.
We will not fail to respect you.
We will not fail to hear you.
We will not fail to hear you.
And we will not betray you.
And we will not betray you. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
Elder C, we thank you so very much for that grounding. And I pray that you are able to use your technology to join us live, okay? Thank you so much.
I shall do my best.
Thank you so very much. So we gather here today for a couple of reasons. One, to pay homage. One, to celebrate African History Month, the celebrations, the traditions, what Africans have given to the civilization of the world, and what Africans have actually given to the creation of this phenomenal global power. And we want to talk about the crisis impacting the African American community today with regards to our health specifically, because we recognize that without our health, we have nothing. And as we continue this journey for freedom, justice, equality, democracy, we have to be healthy to do it. And right now we're moving in the wrong direction. So we brought some experts here today to teach, to share, and to give you the opportunity to have a one-on-one discussion with them as well as to how to take back control over our health. But before we do that, we've called in our ancestors, Ashe, Ashe. But we now want to just bring all of us, no matter who we are in social media, no matter who we are in the world, we want to bring us all together as one. So I've asked Master Charmin Giroux, who teaches meditation, who teaches around the world transcendental meditation, who teaches about spirituality. So I asked him to come to share with us a couple minutes meditation, just so we could all be in the same energy. So with that, Brother Giroux, please, the floor is yours. Brother Giroux, I don't hear you.
Yebo, yebo.
Ashe, ashe.
So thank you. And after that great blessing from the elder, as we embark upon the last few days of Black History Month, but we all know within our heart that Black history is every day in every way. And so one of the things that we're looking at is really starting to step into our spirituality. You know, as we grow in our awareness and our wakefulness, we realize that we are a spiritual being having a human experience and not vice versa. So we're going to have a short meditation. For those of you who have whatever particular practice you have, you can do that practice. And as you know, or might not know, meditation is when you listen. You know, prayer is when you talk to God. Meditation is when you listen, when you become still. There's a great quote that says, "Be still and know that I am God." So that's what we're going to participate in that now. And also, the level of our awareness is so powerful that whatever we put our attention on grows in our life. And so what I'd like people to do, if they have their own practice, if they have a mantra, use that. If you don't have a mantra, but you need something to turn the mind within, you can use your breath, put your attention on your breath, or you can just focus on the word love. So, you close your eyes and you allow for your mantra, the sound, or the word love, or your breath. Okay? So we're going to do a couple of minutes of a guided meditation. This is about health. We want to bring the health from a spiritual level. And, they're going to be talking today about a number of practicums that you can do on the outer level. But life is an inside job and the kingdom is within. So if everybody could sit back comfortably and easily, and I'm going to guide you for a few minutes, and then we're going to go into a silent meditation, and I'll tell you when. So close the eyes, settle down, and take a deep breath in, and then through your nose, and then release that through your mouth. I'm going to do this 3 times. Inhale. You want to inhale the light, the love, the bliss, the great. Exhale the stress, the negativity, the toxins. And then one last time. Inhale. Love, light, bliss, grace, abundance. Inhale. And then exhale. Stress, negativity, toxins. So as we settle into our meditation with our eyes closed, we just like to take our awareness to our heart. You have a physical heart on the left side of your body, but you also have a spiritual heart right in the middle of your chest. And just let your attention go there and fill it with light, love, bliss. The light that never fails. Just bless yourself. Go into your heart, then naturally put your attention on your lungs. That every breath is filling you with that fullness, with that light, with the source, with grace, with blessings, with perfect health. Now go into your kidneys. Put your attention there. Let the light shine all throughout your body. We're electrical beings. And let that light, that enlightenment, illuminate your being. And then let it go into your stomach. Let the light fill up your stomach. Fill up that perfect essence that you are. Then let it go through your nervous system. Your nerving goes throughout every fiber of your body. And let it just be filled with that light, that love, the bliss, the clarity. Your nervous system is your vehicle for perception. That you have the crystal clear perception of your God force. And then your brain. Let the light, the love, the bliss, the coherence expand within your consciousness. Your brain functioning creates your mind, your consciousness, which is the total sum of your being. So let it fill up with light, love, bliss, illuminating your whole being. And now we're just going to sit silent for a few minutes. We're going to just be still and know that we are one, that we are God force. slowly open the eyes. Okay, so now enjoy the bliss of the absolute, the transcendental joy, the self-sufficient, and the pure knowledge of this great knowledge that Angel Hattie is presenting today with these great presenters. Thank you.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Brother Jarud, thank you. I so needed that meditation. So, one of the things that I thought was interesting that I wanted to talk about was Carter G. Woodson, just real briefly. As many of you may know, Carter G. Woodson is the founder of Black History Week. That's what it started out to be. But he's responsible for it becoming Black History Month. But the fact that we have it at all is because of him. He's an author, speaker, historian. And he created an organization that's over 108 years old now, that every year they do these celebrations around Black History Month. Organization called the Association for the Study of African Americans, Liberty and Health. And one of the things there was a few things he said that I wanted to put into this space. African history is critical. It's important. And it cannot be separate. It cannot be segregated. It cannot be taught outside of American history as a whole. Because when you do that, nobody learns history. We don't know nothing. And an example of that is Carter G. Woodson. Is his slave owner came from England, 1619. The same year that the first ships that brought enslaved Africans from Angola landed in Virginia. His slave master was the first one there. He brought the first 6. And he began to amass wealth off of the backs of Africans. He was given hundreds of acres of land. And his children, the history that they grew up with was, and this is in their words, his wife is Sarah Woodson, and she tells us this heart-wrenching story about how they came to the New World to create a new life. And all of a sudden, the Native American, the Native Indians attacked their homestead. She fought them off with a cast iron skillet. She had 2 boys. She threw one of them in the potato bin. She threw the other one in the bathtub, saved their lives. Life is great. And they went on to create massive wealth, which even to this day, their lineage still rests on. Nowhere in that discussion, there's no Black people in that story. And the reason why we have to connect them, the reason why I say we don't learn nothing when we don't connect them, is because this is the legacy that John Woodson's children, their cousins, their nieces, this is their history that they learned. At 41 years of age, Charles Woodson learns about Carter G. Woodson. Why? Because I think it was 1986, in support of African History Month, the United States created a stamp with Carter G. Woodson's picture on it, right? Charles Woodson was like, Dad, is there a relationship here? And his father said, of course. And this is a 41-year-old man talking to his dad. He says, Dad, you've never told us any of this. What do you mean you were a slave owner? What do you mean that I'm part of a family with slaves? Like, why you never told us? His father said, because you never asked. So this just gives you an idea why African history must be taught in the schools. It must be taught in conjunction with history, because American history is not history unless African history is intertwined with it. Carter G. Woodson, I gotta find this quote because he made the point why history is so critical. And I'm just gonna have to paraphrase it. But basically what he says is this. He says, if a race of people don't feel like they have a history, that they have traditions, that they've accomplished, that they've had an impact on the world, then the world looks at them as though they're not relevant, that they're insignificant. And as such, that race is threatened with extermination. I had never heard that before until recently, until I really started delving into Carter G. Woodson. But that's a pretty powerful statement to make. And this was made in 1929, that if African history is not taught and the world grows up to believe that we are insignificant, that we've done nothing where we've done everything, then it's okay to be brushed off. And that's not an option, right? That's not an option. Not just not an option for Africans, but it's not an option. It's not an option for the human race, for what we are attempting to build and to grow into, a world where freedom, justice, and equality is real, continuing the legacy of Dr. King and those who went before him and today. So we want to make clear that this is an important thing, especially in light of the fact that 46 U.S. states just voted to curtail African history. What's that all about? The governor of Florida just banned in their high schools a course around African studies. What is that all about? I'm going to encourage everyone with all my heart to listen to the 1619 Project. It's on Hulu. It's a series, 8-part series. Step into that. They do a nice summary of the power of the history of Africans in this country and all of their contributions. Recognizing that without chattel slavery, despite its brutality, inhumaneness, what we know is without it, America would not exist as the global power that it is today. Hands down. That's a freaking contribution. But the other thing that we wanted to recognize was Dr. King, one of his missions that he had on the agenda was to begin a discussion around Black health, because he saw it going out the back door. No medical care, just no medical care, no insurance. And our community just being ravaged by disease. That has not changed. But it can change. And that's what we want to celebrate today and highlight today with, in my opinion, one of the most prolific, most profound, loving human beings on the planet. I love this guy. From the very first moment I met him, I have been committed to his mission to save the world from disease. And why is that? I traveled to Egypt and I saw on the walls holistic healing. And I said, my God, that's what I want. I want some of that medicine. Because I went to medical school with the intention of becoming a doctor. But I didn't like the way that people were being treated in the hospitals. Didn't like it. But when I came home, I went to school and got my certification to become a naturopath, a practitioner of natural medicine. The day I graduated, my cousin calls me on the phone and she goes, Hattie, would you come to a meeting with me? And I know this is in divine order because I've been in Chicago for like 10 years and I ain't never talked to this sister. So out of the blue, she calls me and I go, I go. And in that meeting, Dr. Wallach begins to talk about the causes of different diseases. The reason I wanted to become a doctor was because my mother died when I was 7 years of age. And I didn't get that. I didn't understand that because I figured if you go to the hospital, you're supposed to come the hell back home. But I vowed to her that I was going to learn why she died so it didn't happen to another child. And it was in that meeting with Dr. Wallach, he began to talk about aneurysms, blood clots in the brain. And it was caused by a freaking copper deficiency. All the freak I could do was cry. Why? Because I'm like, a copper deficiency? Something that simple, you lose somebody that important? That should never be an option. Should never be an option. So you are about to listen to whom I think is one of the greatest healers walking the planet right now. Why? Because he has proven in a book in the Smithsonian Institute, 900 diseases, that he has personally been involved in reversing and showing how to prevent them. Who does that? He does. Right? But the brother is Dr. Joe Wallach is a scientist. He's a pathologist. He's done more autopsies on human beings and animals than anybody walking the planet, probably ever. Which is why he has such an innate understanding of what goes on inside of the temple. In his books, where he talk about with every disease, you don't die from that disease, you die from a deficiency. Like, huh? Powerful work. So he is the father of this book. It's called Epigenetics, of this science. This is a new science. It's called epigenetics. Why is it important? Because we go to the doctors and they tell us that everything is freaking genetic. You got high blood pressure because your mama had it. You got cancer because so-and-so had it. You got this, diabetes. Hell no. Dr. Wallach is here to teach us that is a lie. Ain't nothing genetic. And everything that we are suffering today, we have the ability to transform it. I don't care what it is. So I want to bring to you someone that let me just tell you some more of his books first. You see this one? Rare Earth, Forbidden Cures. Let's Play Doctor. Hell's Kitchen. Herbal Doctor. Wallach Revolution. Energy Crisis. But this is one of my newest favorite ones. I don't know if anybody can see it. This is Dr. Wallach's cooking recipe book, None of the Bad Foods. I got a couple of recipe books by Dr. Wallach. My point is, this is a prolific writer, author, healer, educator. And I don't think there's anything he can't help us get on the other side of. That's why he is a national treasure, not just to the Smithsonian Institute, but to longevity, and I think the whole world. So Dr. Wallach, with all of my love, honor, and respect, I give you the floor.
Oh, thank you so much for the great presentation, Dr. Hattie. I appreciate that. And I'm going to throw one more book at you. this is very special to me because I spent 2 years in Africa living in the bush. I delivered my second baby out in the bush by myself because there were no hospitals and nothing. I was on the White Rhino Conservation Project. You can hear me, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And by that time, I already knew that there were no genetically transmitted diseases, which you pointed out. I learned that when I was 9 years old. I had a terrible aggressive problem with my brain. I was 9 years old, and they were going to put me in an experimental hospital because I was very, very aggressive. I could beat up an adult man when I was 9 years old because I'm throwing bales of hay, very strong. And they were going to put me in this hospital. So on Friday night, I'm sitting on the end of my bed. My mom and dad are packing my clothes because on Monday they're taking me to this hospital, which they say you might be there for the rest of your life. Oh, that was scary. So the next morning, I said, okay, I'm going to do something different here. And, you know, I had been eating Wheaties and oatmeal and buckwheat and all kind of stuff for breakfast and buckwheat pancakes and spaghetti and, you know, the usual stuff as kids do. And I was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Anytime somebody would even look at me with a funny look, I just punch them. And I was always in trouble. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do something different. So that Saturday morning, the next morning, after sitting there on the bed with my parents packing my clothes to go to that hospital on Monday, I go to the barn and I throw my Cheerios and my Wheaties and oatmeal and that kind of stuff into the yard for the chickens. I got the alfalfa pellets that were feeding the calves. They were fortified with vitamins and minerals. I put them in my cereal bowl, put milk on it, had that for cereal that morning. Did the same thing on Sunday morning. Did the same thing on Monday morning. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday morning, I was cured. In 2.5 days, I cured myself of 9 years of going downhill, okay? Because I was nutritionally deficient because of the gluten in the grains, which doctors always say, oh, eat whole grains, they're good for you, but they have glutens in them. They destroy your intestines so you cannot absorb nutrition, even if you're supplementing with nutrients. Okay, and so then I said, I'm going to agricultural college. And so I went and I studied nutrition. And when I was in veterinary school in 1963, Christmas, all the professors were gone. I was working my way through school, had to earn money because we were broke. And so I was working in the pathology department, and this sheep farmer brings me 50 dead lambs. I said, oh my goodness, what happened? He says, well, yesterday I had 500 lambs. We're going to shear them on Christmas Day, which is a couple of weeks from now. And then we're going to take them to market after the New Year's. And I'm feeding them, and all those 500 lambs, they were just sappy and jumping all over the place. This morning, they were all dead. What? What do you mean they're all dead? They're all dead, just like these 50. I said, okay. And so that means there's something uniform going on there. Where were they getting their drinking water? Well, we have a pond, okay. And I said, do you have neighbors? Yeah. Do they have sheep and cattle? No, they just all grow grain and hay and stuff like that. Do you know what fertilizer they use? Well, they all use nitrate fertilizer. I said, uh-oh. Now, the blood in these 50 dead lambs look black. Not red, not dark red, but black. So I said, that's a nitrate poisoning. So let's check them out. And sure enough, they had high nitrates. And the night they all died, the temperature in Missouri in the middle of wintertime, you know, like December, it can run in the 50s and so forth. It's not unusual. But the night they all died, it dropped down to 16, and they all died of hypothermia. Their thyroids were all dead because they've been getting nitrates in their drinking water for 6 months. So I wrote that up, gave a copy of it to Marlon Perkins, the old Mutual Mahawa Kingdom show whom I had worked for, and submitted it for publication. It got accepted into a veterinary journal, and he sent me to Africa to work on that White Rhino Conservation Project. And it's one of those things where things just kept building and building and building. It was very, very interesting. Okay. And to make a long story short, later on down the line, I actually worked with Jonathan Emord, one of our great attorneys, to sue the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, 8 times on that one subject in federal court to put vitamins and minerals into baby formulas, Enfamil, Similac, and the like, because in 1976, when I came back from Africa, I was working with the monkeys were supposed to go into space at the Yerkes Primate Center in Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And I recognized the death of one of those monkeys was due to a birth defect called cystic fibrosis, supposed to be a genetic disease in humans. I said, well, this isn't a genetic disease in humans. This is a monkey. Okay. And so I sent the tissues around, the slides. I didn't tell them it was from a monkey. I just said, I think this is from cystic fibrosis. What do you think? And they said, yeah, this is classic cystic fibrosis. I said, well, that's good because now this is the first non-human case of it. And I got permission to do biopsies on the other 24 baby monkeys that had different mothers and fathers, and they all had cystic fibrosis. The behaviorists had changed the diets. They took away the monkey pellets for all the vitamins and minerals and just gave them fruits and nuts and bananas and stuff like that. And they were nutritionally deficient, producing all these babies with the birth defects. And so, like crazy, really, really crazy stuff. Okay. And as Dr. Hattie pointed out, we had that pathology grant. Okay. Did my 20,000 autopsies. And the book is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. And there's two things you have to know. Number one, I'm living with these African tribes. They're having all these diseases that white folks have in the United States. And so I wrote this book, Black Gene Lies, because there are no genetic diseases in black folks. There's no genetic disease in white folks. They're all caused by nutritional deficiencies. And it goes through the diseases that are said to be genetic in black folks and tells what nutrients are missing. Okay. We're talking about arthritis, osteoporosis, high blood pressure, diabetes. We're talking about heart disease. We're talking about skin problems. We're talking about kidney failure, all that kind of stuff. None of these are genetic. They're all just simple nutritional deficiencies, and they're all in this book, Black Gene Lies. Everybody needs to get this book, okay, whether you're white or black or yellow or red, because it goes into all these diseases said to be genetic, and they're just simple nutritional deficient diseases. So, Black Gene Lies. It's really a great, great study, and it'll relieve a lot of pressure. Now, since you've already showed the book Epigenetics, which is a summary of my book that's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure, it was 20,000 autopsies. Okay, this all started. Okay, this all started because, as you say, in the slave days, things were happening between the white population and the black population, which was growing, and it's kind of interesting. In the black population, many of the leaders in the black slave groups on these plantations, they would live to be 100, 110, 120, and the plantation owners would die in their 50s. What's going on there? Well, the slaves are putting the wood ashes from their fireplaces into the gardens as fertilizer, and the wood ashes are 98% minerals. They're getting their minerals that way. And the slave owners just want to live like Europeans, and they would just eat steaks with red wine. They would just have steak and red wine for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Whereas the slaves are putting the wood ashes into their gardens and getting vegetables and corn and that kind of stuff. Okay, grits. And so that's why they were living twice as long as the plantation owners. So I thought that was great. And all these stories are there. Well, Hell's Kitchen, of course, goes into the fact that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, Thomas Edison pulls a switch and turns on the first commercial electric generating plant. Well, within 18 years, by 1900, there were 45, 50 new diseases nobody had ever seen before. They're blaming it on genetics, okay? And it was awful. Well, this tells a story, Hell's Kitchen. This tells a story of going from wood and coal as fuel for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, putting those wood ashes and coal ashes into the garden, putting wood ashes and coal ashes into our food as a spice, getting the minerals that way. And it's called Hell's Kitchen because that was the name given to a district in New York City where every bad thing in the world happens. And so it's an appropriate title for the book, Hell's Kitchen, going into, okay, why it was the slaves lived twice as long as the plantation owners. They weren't treated right. But they were getting nutrition. Okay, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And so that book, Black Gene Lies, Hell's Kitchen, Epigenetics, and that gets you going in the right direction. And of course, you get a hair analysis from Rare Earth Spin Cures. That book will tell you how to collect the hair, where to ship it to. You don't need a doctor's permission to get a hair analysis. And that tells you what minerals you're missing. Okay, it tells you what diseases you get when you're missing those minerals. I just get so excited by what you can do for yourself. Okay. And I've been working with the Black community since I was a kid. My father was a Golden Glove champion, a boxer, and he bought a gymnasium where he would teach other boxers. And, I'm the guy who helped Evander Holyfield, a great black heavyweight champion. And he lost his heavyweight championship because he had a heart attack just before the last round of his defense of his title against Michael Moore. And he had this heart attack. He couldn't answer the bell, so he lost by default. Michael Moore became champion. I came up with a Healthy Brain and Heart Pack for Evander Holyfield. And in 9 months' time, in the sixth round, he almost destroyed and killed Mike Tyson, really one of the toughest heavyweights ever, okay, because I had given the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. And the referees had to jump in there and separate him because he was going to kill Mike Tyson. I mean, he was really at it. And he's been a great, great, great authority on this nutrition that we gave him to heal, okay, his heart. And so very proud of that. And of course, Theo Ratliff, 24 years old, he loses his contract with the basketball team there in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's because he had osteoporosis of his knees. He had a fracture of his shooting arm wrist. And so they took away his $3 million contract. I came up with the Healthy Bone and Joint project for him, rebuilt him. He came back. He played for 11 more years. And guess what? Made $100 million. And so I've been involved with the Black community in industry and nutrition, in the bush, out in Africa, in sports, in business, and in nutrition. And I just look at the Black community as part of our family. And being a veterinarian, one of the things that was always fascinating to me, we dealt with black horses, white horses, Palomino horses, which are kind of a golden color, and Pinto horses, which had spots all over them. And yet when you took their skin off, they're all alike inside. And that's the way it is with humans. It doesn't matter whether you're Chinese, Japanese, okay, where you come from, it's what you eat, what you don't eat, how you cook, what affects your health and your life and the quality of your life and so forth. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple of facts here. Let's see here. The United States, depending on whose data you look at, our life expectancy is 73 or 75. Australia is 82.9. New Zealand is 82.3. Japan is 84.7. Canada is 84. South Africa is 63. East Africa, Kenya is 59. Mexico is 77. Hunza in the Himalayan mountains west of Russia is 120. What? That's because they're surrounded by all these glaciers and all these volcanoes, and all this ash is going into their fields. They plowed into their fields every day, and they're getting all these minerals. And that's why they live so long. And so this is unimpeachable evidence. All right. Now, why do medical doctors like medicine that relieves symptoms? Because then the patient loves them. Oh my God, I had arthritis pain for years. My doctor gave me this new medicine, and in 3 hours the pain was gone, hasn't come back, and it's just great. Now, so why is it the doctors like arthritis and osteoporosis? Okay, well, we spend in America alone each year, just to treat the symptoms of arthritis, not to prevent it or cure, but just to treat the symptoms, $626.8 billion. Osteoporosis, we spend 2.3 trillion with a T, 2.3 trillion each year just to treat the symptoms of osteoporosis, not to prevent or cure. So the two, arthritis and osteoporosis, we spend $3 trillion a year to treat the symptoms for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And that's why doctors love arthritis. That's why doctors love to give you painkillers instead of giving you the nutrition to prevent and reverse arthritis and osteoporosis. So with that said, I get excited about that. We do have our sports drink, Rebound, okay? And of course, the biggest energy drink in the world is Red Bull. Red Bull, it has one mineral in it, magnesium. Our Rebound comes in sticks, comes in a canister, comes in cans, and it has 100 nutrients in it, 75 minerals. Are 75 minerals more than one? Of course. And so we have a 3 CD set, Okay, oops. Here we go. The 3 CD set. There's a new bull in town because we want to go up against Red Bull. We have 75 minerals. They have 1, magnesium. And the first one is dead athletes don't lie. We talk about all these young athletes, they're teens and 20s who die from heart attacks and this, that, and the other, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, heart disease. And then because Jonathan Emord, one of my great attorneys and myself, just in that one subject of, let's see here, it's one of these things where all these athletes are dying, and these kids are dying of sudden death syndrome, SIDS, and then so on, SIDS. And the doctor said, oh, the mothers are laying on the babies and suffocating. They've been saying that for years and years and years and years, that the mothers are laying on the babies and suffocating. And these babies are dying when they're 2 or 3 months old from a heart attack because they weren't getting the nutrition in their baby formulas, Enfamil, Similac, or maybe the mothers weren't taking their prenatal formulas. Maybe they were, but they were eating wheat, brown, rye, and oats and couldn't absorb it because of the gluten. Well, make a long story short, CD number 2 is exercise without supplementation of suicide. And the third CD in here is what kills billionaires. Billionaires' life expectancy is 66. So the life expectancy of professional athletes in America is 56.3. Okay, get this 3 CD set, add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life, and it's that simple. Now, with all that said, I'm going to, again, saying I'm the guy who got rid of cystic fibrosis by putting the nutrients in those baby formulas. Remember, Jonathan Emord and I sued the FDA and federal court on that one subject 8 times. We also got rid of muscular dystrophy because in cows, muscular dystrophy is called white muscle disease. And so I took that treatment, which is a nutritional deficiency, and started treating kids, human kids with muscular dystrophy. I cured them. And then the other one we got rid of was sudden death syndrome. So I'm the guy who got rid of cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and sudden death syndrome just simply by putting nutrition into baby formulas and into supplements that babies could have. Okay, and it's one of those things which is so simple, but doctors missed it by a million miles because they don't get trained on any nutrition during medical school. They only get trained on how to provide prescriptions for drugs. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over, okay, to the team. And thank you for the opportunity to share.
Dr. Wallach, before you leave, I mean, I know you're not going because we're going to open up for questions and answers, but I just wanted you to step into Andrew Young.
Oh.
I want you to speak to Creflo Dollar.
Okay, sure.
And also Nelson Mandela. You helped rebuild
Nelson Mandela. Also, let's see here, Martin Luther King III. Worked with him. Okay. And Andy Young, of course, was an ambassador to the United Nations from America. He was also the mayor of Atlanta, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And he was going to have a double hip replacement or double knee replacement, okay, because he had bone-to-bone arthritis. And so I said, sir, would you give me 90 days? Let me work with you and see what we can do. And so to make a long story short, we put him on the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack that we had made for Theo Ratliff and rebuilt him. Now, in my newest book, which just came out a couple of weeks ago, Pat Boone, very famous singer, and Danny Glover, very famous Black comedian, right? Mm-hmm. Great people. They're putting all these great stories in there based on my treatments of people with nutritional formulas. And of course, one of which was done by Pat Boone was Andy Young, because we put him on the Theo Ratliff program for rebuilding joints, and he didn't have to have a surgery because he got the nutrition to rebuild his knees. And talk about crazy, right? And of course, I was on many radio interviews and TV interviews and newspaper interviews because of that. But there's 75 years of these stories, and of course, Pat Boone and Danny Glover both wrote big pieces in this book. Both of them wrote big pieces in this book. And so if you're a fan of Danny Glover, if you're a fan of Pat Boone, if you're a fan of Andy Young, you need to get this book. Don't read my stuff, read their stuff. The Wallach Revolution, 75 years of these stories.
Ashe. Awesome. So before we have, I just got alerted that we have the honor of having Miss Regina Vaughn in the house. Now, Miss Regina is the president of the local Philadelphia chapter of Carter G. Woodson's organization, where he created over 100 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And she's the local president here of the Association for the Study of African American Life and Health, I believe ASALA. But I just wanted to
Beautiful.
give her a minute just to step in and introduce her and tell us a little bit about the organization, because I really encourage all of us to join it and get involved with it. So Regina, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Woo! Thank you, sis.
Yes.
It's an
Thank you very
honor.
much.
Yay.
Yes. Good afternoon, and thank you, Hattie, for the opportunity to talk about ASALA and the local branch of Philadelphia Heritage. I also have the other branch. There's two branch presidents. There's two branches in Philadelphia, Philadelphia Heritage and Philadelphia Monaco. If there's a silver lining in the pandemic, we've been on Zoom, and additionally, Karen Williams stepped up to the presidency of that branch, and we've been working closely together. She had a program last year on, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll go back to that. All right, I'll go back to my script. My name is Regina Vaughn, and I'm the president of ASALA Philadelphia Heritage. And Hattie, ASALA is an acronym for Association for the Study of African American Life and History.
Life.
Okay. And Dr. Woodson really liked Philadelphia because he was a mentor of Raymond Pace Alexander, who became one of the first judges in Philadelphia. In 1924, we're going on our 99th anniversary as a Negro History Club. The fourth conference of the association was held in Philadelphia. The association was fortunate that Philadelphians attended this conference in considerable numbers and participated in its proceedings and had themselves enrolled as co-workers to save the record of this neglected group of our population. ASALA Philadelphia Heritage is one of the first branches Dr. Woodson himself chartered. We were chartered on November the 11th, 1927, and is the oldest consecutive running branch in the association. Our branch is in the current process of writing the branch history, and we have celebrated Negro History Week and what it morphed into Negro Black History Month since 1930. Also, we've had a wealth of community-based programs, including historic, music, and cultural programs. Now, may I have the slides? Were we able to get them up? Now, the 2020 theme was Black Health and Wellness, and we did the theme was Black Health and Wellness. As I mentioned, the branches started working more closely together since we were on Zoom. It didn't matter the location. And several of the branches did the 8 dimensions of the wellness wheel. And Karen Williams, the president of the other branch, had I think she was a herbalist, and she talked about the proper vitamins. So here we're getting into today a talk about the minerals. But it's all a part of having been diagnosed myself, is what they document as the next steps of your self-healing and your self-care, what you do to keep yourself healthy and so your diseases don't come back. The next slide. We are torchbearers. We must relight our torches from Carter Woodson's bright flame and continue searching for the sustaining truth. Join us in 2023 as we explore all facets of our theme, Black Resistance. And what we're telling people that we're going to have programs. We've had several programs nationally and locally on Black resistance, but I'm looking forward to individual people who have resisted. And one of the things right here, you resisted the bad health. You took charge of it.
Yes,
And we
yes.
have the Facebook page, Asalo Philadelphia Heritage, and send us an email. And the annual conference, Hattie mentioned, is going to be in September. And you send an email, and I'll make sure you'll get the other branch president will get your email address as well. I'll send that out to you, Hattie, to your email
Okay.
so later.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Woo! Yes, I look forward to doing much work with you. So now, I don't. Are there any questions that have come in that we know of, or if someone want to raise their hands? So, but Dr. Wallach, someone just sent me a text. She has, stiff man's disease, and
I'm sorry, she has what disease?
let's see. I think it says stiff man disease.
Oh, mhm.
Oh, good. I'm glad you know. Stiff man syndrome and something called primary biliary cirrhosis.
Coronary biliary cirrhosis.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got liver cirrhosis. Okay. Biliary is liver. Okay. You got coronary artery disease. Okay. And so this is all actually very simple stuff. Okay. And the doctors want to do heart transplants and all that kind of stuff so they can send their kids to college, right? And so basically what we do is take somebody with that problem. Let's go by 100 pounds of body weight. You got to get rid of all the bad foods so they can maximize absorption. Okay. That means no fried foods, no processed meats, nothing with nitrates in it, nothing like hot dogs, bologna, salami, ham, bacon, all that stuff's got to go away because it damages tissues and prevents you from being able to absorb the nutrition you might be taking. No wheat, bran, and oats because they have gluten in them and they destroy the villi, the little finger-like projections in your intestines that increase the absorptive surface. And so when you eat gluten, wheat, bran, and oats, that's what I was doing when I was a kid, eating oatmeal for breakfast and breakfast of champions, Wheaties and buckwheat and all the pancakes. All my villi are going away and I couldn't absorb any nutrition. And that's why I was kind of aggressive and had all these problems and so forth. And so, and that's what goes on there. So they have to get rid of all the bad foods and then absolutely no sugar. 100 years ago, according to our Department of Health, the average American was eating a half a pound of sugar per person per year. Now they're eating a pound and a half per day because everybody who sells food products puts sugar in it because they know people like sweet stuff. Okay, they're putting sugar in everything. And so then they have to get rid of, in addition to the sugar, they got to get rid of carbonation because carbonation neutralizes stomach acid, even the diet sodas and carbonated water. Okay, no carbonated water because it neutralizes stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. You need stomach acid to digest food. Okay, so carbonation's out. And then they need the 90 essential nutrients. And of course, our basic program we call the Healthy Start Pack has the 90 essential nutrients in it, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 omega 3 fatty acids. And you cannot get them from your food because nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins, okay, like gold and silver. And remember, okay, back when they switched over to electricity in 1882, they gave up thousands and thousands and thousands of years using wood ashes and coal ashes as fertilizer and getting minerals that way. And doctors say, oh, don't waste your money on taking vitamins and minerals because, just eat well, you get everything you need. That's nonsense. You do have to supplement. You do have to supplement. And that's why farmers don't have to have veterinarians come out to treat their animals every day. Farmers go broke in 2 weeks if they had to come out and treat all their animals. Have a herd of 50 animals, send them 50 bills for treating 50 animals for arthritis or something like that. So the farmers learned that if they gave them those alfalfa pellets with the vitamins and minerals in it, which saved me. Okay, remember I was eating those calf pellets with the vitamins and minerals added to it. Okay, that saved me. I didn't have to go to that hospital because I cured myself in 2.5 days. All these problems go away. And so that's where you start. And again, in these books, we cover something like 600 different diseases that are preventable and reversible and treatable and curable with vitamins and minerals. Okay. That's crazy when you think about it. We have 5,000 products because some people like liquids, some people like powders, some people like tablets. And some of the products which people love, we have in each of the farms. For instance, our Rebounder Sports Drink, we have boxes of 30 sticks. Okay, it's the classic formula of our Rebound, 100 nutrients. We have the canister with 36 servings in it. Okay, it has a little scoop, 1 scoop in a bottle of water. And then we have the cans, 12-ounce cans. The 12-ounce cans, there's 12 in a case, but the cans do have carbonation in them. So, and why do we keep them? Well, because kids love the carbonation, and they love, that's one of the reasons why they love the Red Bull. Okay, so we tell them to pop the tops the night before you're gonna drink them. Just pop that top, open it up, put it in the refrigerator. I put 2 of them in the refrigerator every night, and the next morning I'll have one with breakfast because it's flat. All the bubbly's gone, but it has 100 nutrients in it. So I'm getting my 100 nutrients twice a day from my Rebound. I'm getting my 100 nutrients twice a day from my Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. I'm getting 100 nutrients 4 times a day. Okay, and that's why I'm 83 years old, and most people think I'm in my 50s when they look at me and see my activity levels and so forth. They can't believe I'm 83 going on 84. In a couple of months, I'll be 84.
Well, Dr. Wallach, the woman who said she had the stiff man's disease, she said her doctors, every time she go, they tell her that she has 5 autoimmune diseases and that she's terminal.
Well, have you ever heard of the science of science of crapola? No, there's no. So she may have some osteoporosis. She may have some even kind of an adult onset muscular dystrophy. Get on our program, and within weeks or months, within 90 days, she'll be a whole new person. So she needs to get in contact with you and get on our programs, and she needs to come on because she'll be so excited to tell her testimony because she'll be a new person in 90 days. Yes. Sometimes it happens as quickly, just like me. It had happened in 2.5 days.
Well, Dr. Wallach, that's pretty awesome because a lot of times people think they're going to be sick forever. So if you're saying in 90 days,
that's right. Well, they think a doctor is like God. Well, my doctor said, really? Well, that should make you very nervous if your doctor said it.
Ashe. Awesome. And so, Dr. Wallach, could you talk about asthma? Because that's a big thing in the Black community.
Asthma is a very easy disease to get rid of. It's a very simple nutritional deficiency of essential fatty acids. And part of what we have, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, has 2 sources of the essential fatty acids, the omegas and the omega-3s, okay? And again, I take 3 of those at breakfast and 3 at dinner time with each of my Healthy Brain and Heart Packs, okay? So I'm getting 3 of the EFAs twice a day and 3 of the FA pluses twice a day. I'll never get asthma because asthma is a deficiency of essential fatty acids. If you have asthma, they need to get on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack if they're an adult. Okay, if they're a kid, we even have nutrients for kids. It's called, let's see here. Kids Toddy. It's called Kids Toddy. Okay. The only thing it does not have in there is the essential fatty acids. So you have to get the EFAs and EFA pluses and take that with the Kids Toddy, which has the 75 minerals in it, and they can take the cherry mins, but get those EFAs and EFA pluses. Little kids, with asthma, let's say they're only a couple of months old, you give them 1 or 2 of those EFAs at dinner time and 1 or 2 of the EFA pluses at breakfast. You have to puncture them and squirt them into the drink, okay? And the dosage for body weight is on the back of the label here, okay? The Kids Toddy. And so asthma is one of the easiest things to get rid of because it goes away in weeks. Sometimes just days.
Awesome. Wow, you're gonna make some people really, really happy because they've been suffering for decades with this.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter how old you are, but you do have to remember, you do have to get rid of the bad foods so you can absorb this stuff. That's half the equation. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, brown oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Everything's got to go. Okay. And I tell people you need to eat like an Asian. Why is it the Japanese live to be 84.7 and we Americans only live to be 73? Okay, that's because Japan they live on rice instead of wheat, bran, and oats, right? Now, here's one of my favorites. In China, they have two cultures in China. The northern culture, which lives, okay, on wheat. The northern culture in China lives on wheat. The southern culture in China lives on rice. Well, guess what? The southern culture in China lives 5 years longer than the northern culture because southern culture lives on rice and they can absorb all the nutrients because they're eating seaweed and all that kind of stuff, which they're getting minerals from. Whereas the people in the north, they live on wheat and the gluten is killing their intestines and they don't eat so much of the seaweed up in the north. Okay. So that's even the same genetic people. Their diet is so different. It's they live I said 5 years. No, it's 5 times longer in the south than they do in the north. Okay.
Awesome. So, Dr. Waller, a couple more questions came in. Well, first of all, let me let people know anyone who's interested in purchasing any of the products that Dr. Wallach is speaking to, um, um, Angel Bliss will put my telephone number on the screen. Just text that number with your name and your telephone number, and we'll get back to you. Okay?
Super duper.
And so, 2 questions. One is, what do you do if you are experiencing periodic tendinitis? And the other one is enlarged prostate.
Okay. Well, girls don't have to worry about the prostate thing, do they?
Thank you.
No, it's a boy thing. Okay. Okay. Well, let's start out on the other end. Okay, let's start out where what do you do to start taking nutrients? Well, you got to get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, and oats, no sugar, no buckwheat. All that stuff's got to go. And no carbonated drinks, even the carbonated water's got to go. And then they can take 1 Healthy Brain and Heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight. Okay. And then because they have tendinitis, they want to take 2 bottles a month of our MSM. Well, 1 bottle per 100 pounds of body weight. And if they only weigh 120 pounds, it'd be 1 bottle. If they weigh 150 pounds, it'd be 2 bottles. But let's say they weigh 120 pounds, so be that's a lady, say, or a 25-year-old guy, and they got tendinitis. Well, they want to take 1 bottle a month of the MSM, so they can take 3 twice a day. And the MSM is designed to rebuild cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone, makes bone, and cell. And then, let's see here. They also need vitamin D3. Take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. And they need the collagen peptides, which is collagen, which is cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue from fish, poultry, sheep, and beef. Take a scoop of that with a morning drink, scoop of that with the evening drink, whether you're 120 pounds or 200 pounds. I only weigh 142, and I do that. And so I'm getting over 215 different nutrients a day, but I'm getting at least 100 4 times a day. And so that's why I was only on prescription drugs 3 days in my life when I got infected, falling into a ditch up in Canada and getting punctured by rebar. They gave me IV antibiotics for 3 days. Other than that, I'm 83 years old and never been on a prescription drug. My prostate's happy, okay? And so basically, what you want to do is you take the 90 essential nutrients. We do have what we call ProstFX. Take ProstFX. Take 3 of those twice a day, which I do. It's 2 bottles a month. They're small bottles. And then we have what we call Zeratest, which is the raw materials the Sertoli cells in the testicles require to make testosterone. And so I take 3 of the Zeratest at breakfast, 3 of the Zeratest at dinner time. That's 2 bottles a month. I also eat 3 eggs twice a day. Well, my doctor says I can't have eggs because of the cholesterol. You need to change doctors. Cholesterol makes up 95% of the weight of all testosterone and estrogen. Okay? Cholesterol makes up 25% of your brain weight and your spinal cord weight. You do not want to be on a cholesterol-restricted diet. You do not want to be on cholesterol-lowering drugs like statin drugs. Okay? Doctors made a huge mistake 100 years ago when they came out and said cholesterol blocks your arteries. That's what's blocking your arteries. That was missed by 1,000 miles. And of course, that philosophy has killed more people than all the wars human beings have ever fought in the history of human beings.
So,
okay? Cholesterol is your best friend if you like sex.
So I was just about to ask you, Dr. Waller, because you know there's some men out here who are worried about ED. So they should use that same formula?
Use that same formula. Yeah, again, use the Xera test. That's XERA-test. Females is XeraFem, XERA-Fem, okay? Because she'll make estrogen, the guys make testosterone.
How long will it work, Dr. Waller?
I'm sorry?
How soon can men see results from ED?
Usually within 30 days.
Okay.
I don't care if they haven't been able to have sex for 25 years. Katie barred the door.
Woo, you just made a bunch of women happy. Thank you, dear sir. So listen, there's the questions are coming in like crazy. So Dr. Waller, this is what I need to know. Can you stay around for a little bit longer? Because we have two other guests.
Sure.
Who's going to speak, and then I'm going to open it up again.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I want to let them get in here too.
Miss Rebecca said that you know, that I had to be here for you as long as you wanted me. So that's what's going to happen here.
Aww.
So you can thank her for my scheduling.
Okay. Well, then I just want to let the questions that I have about the blood clots and the inflammation, the varicose veins, we're going to get to those in the next section. So don't go away. I'm just letting you know we're going to come back to your questions because they are very important and we want to get to them.
I'm here for you.
Awesome. So right now we're just going to we have Nina Elaine, who is a songbird for real. She's a musical teacher, a storyteller, and she has graciously volunteered, and I'm glad she accepted my invitation to come and just give us a musical selection. I believe she's going to sing This Little Light of Mine, but anything she sings is going to be divine. This Little Light of Mine is just a special for me because I grew up on it. My brother grew up on it, and I just recently lost him, and that was his favorite song. So, but anyway, Miss Nina, you have the floor, sis.
All right. Uh-oh, what did I do? Can you hear that?
Yes, we can hear you.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All in my room, I'm gonna let it shine. All in my room, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, all in my room, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All in my community, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the neighborhood, I'm gonna let it shine. All the way down on Main Street, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, hey, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, my sister.
Thanks.
That's the key. No matter what is going on in our community, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on, that's the space to stay in. Keep moving forward. Let our light shine, no matter what. Ashe. Thank you, darling. I love it. So now we're going to step into the next part of our webinar. We have two phenomenal guests who will be speaking for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to open up the question and answer period again. So the first person I want to introduce you to is Mrs. Yolanda Brown. She's an author. She's a speaker, a motivational speaker. But she has the biggest heart. She absolutely loves people. She loves humanity. And she too is serious about doing whatever we can do to help our community heal. And I was excited to invite her to come because she represents a product that I just think is like a miracle in a bottle. I don't know if I should say that, but that's the way I look at it. Especially when I saw testimonies of people with sickle cell. You know, that's a serious thing in our community. And I lost 2 nieces as a result, because back in the day, we didn't know anything. But today, she has something that I think would just serve us all. And I wanted her to put her voice in the space. So Miss Brown, longevity, majestic egos. Woo-hoo! Take it away, my sister.
Well, thank you. Let me just start by simply saying that we do all need to lean into life. We need to lean into our light so it does shine. And we can make that light shine as it relates to health in what we're doing here today. Now, I will also just want to just pause a moment and just recognize and thank Dr. Wallach for leading us off and giving us such great information as to what we need to do to take care of ourselves, and just a little bit about him as to why he is doing what he is doing. And then secondly, I'd love to recognize Regina Vaughn. Thank you for giving us that information as to what you're doing and with that wellness wheel. Because if we all look at that wellness wheel, that's what we all need to really live at this moment. Now, I'm going to take, I may not even take the 10 minutes because I know everyone is sitting there on pins and needles wanting to have their questions answered from Dr. Joel Wallach. And then of course, we have another speaker, Dr. Shannon. So, Hattie, I want to thank you for putting this together. I know this is your first webinar. You were not sure as to how it was going to pull off, but the fact of the matter is you did it. And that is a major success. So you do one, you can do many. So congratulations. And to all of those that are supporting you out there from all of the different groups within the company Youngevity and within your family, your circle. Now, as it relates to what I'm going to talk about now and how it fits into that wellness wheel, how it fits into the 90 for Life family that Dr. Wallach so gallantly leads, is simply another product, another part of that wellness wheel. You see, we have, as Dr. Wallach was indicating, the Healthy Start Pack, the 90 essential nutrients. And we realize that in order for us to be healthy, we have to supplement. There's no doubt about it. You heard Dr. Wallach say so. And he gave you reasons as to why you should. Well, I'm going to continue that to let you know that the soils have been so depleted that 85% of the nutritional value that's found in our soil is gone. So that means that we're all not working at a full tank. We're working at about a quarter of a tank. So in order for us to work properly, to go out here and be able to change this world, to really stop the human suffering physically as well as financially, we have to feel good. And we have to be a product of the product. But so many of us understand that the foundation is there with our 90 essential nutrients. But so many of us are wanting to do something else. Maybe there's something in addition to the 90 essential nutrients that we want to add because of a main ingredient that is in the product Z-Radical. Now, I am sure that because I am at a place where I could not get the product of some of the samples up here today, because I would be showing you a bottle of Z-Radical right now. But at any rate, there we have the Z-Radical, which is in a bottle form of beverage. Or if you prefer, we have it in a powder in the stick. And then, of course, if you prefer capsules, we have that as well. So any form that you want this product, we can give it to you. The fact of the matter is where you want to be as far as your wellness is concerned. Do you want to be at the top, or do you just kind of just want to be? It's entirely up to you. But see, when you add fucoidan, which is that main ingredient found in Z-Radical, when you add fucoidan, Fucoidan, to the mix of the 90 for Life, that Healthy Start Pack, fucoidan helps to put your body into balance. And guys, you can go look at the research, and you will find that fucoidan is a polysaccharide, and it puts your body into balance, homeostasis. So what happens when your body is in balance? Well, it begins to absorb more. And as Dr. Wallach says, we are not what we eat, but we are what we absorb. So we need to be helped with that absorption. There you go. There's that bottle of Z-Radical. So, and you drink as much as you want. You can't overdose on it because it's a pharmaceutical grade food. It's a pharmaceutical grade food. So you could drink that whole bottle if you wanted to. Now it's
delicious.
It is delicious. It's from a brown seaweed, a sea vegetable from the Arctic and the Antarctica. Now you could drink that whole bottle, but here's the other one of the other properties that fucoidan has. It helps to cleanse the system. It pulls toxins out of your system. Again, the research you can find at Marinova, MARINOVA.com. You can find more information there. Those individuals are the experts on fucoidan. And you can also, if you choose to, you will see that there are over 2,000 studies on fucoidan found on the National Library of Medicine, pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. So you see, again, I'm giving you information that you can research. And oh, by the way, as with most companies, this is not research from our company. This is not research from Dr. Wallach. This is not research from other doctors that we have working with our company or in any of the pharmacists that we have. This is third-party, unsolicited studies. So non-biased studies, pubmed.gov. And you can key in fucoidan and you'll see research on fucoidan in cancer, sinus, allergies, colds, flu, diabetes, arthritis, high blood pressure, low blood pressure. And you'll see autism, ADD, ADHD, autoimmune diseases such as sickle cell, lupus, AIDS, and there is more. Yep, heart condition, you think about it. Now, I will pause for a moment and I'll just tell you why I get so excited about this from a personal perspective. And then I'll just share with you a friend of mine's story who I think could help you to see why you want to give your body fucoidan each and every day. And it's working at the cellular level. So it's impossible for fucoidan not to work. All you have to do is drink at least 4 ounces of it each and every day. 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon or evening, or you can do 1, 1, 1, and 1. It's entirely up to you if you choose to drink the beverage. If you're taking the capsules, you want to take at least 4 capsules a day. And then if you're doing the powder, you want to do at least 4 scoops or at least 4 of the packs a day. That's what you want to do. 220 milligrams of fucoidan when you do that is what you'll be getting a day. There is 50 milligrams in every ounce that you drink. And you want 4 ounces each and every day. So for me personally, I thought it was pretty healthy. At the time when I was introduced to fucoidan, I was traveling 90% of the time. So I would be going from different time zones to different time zones. And sometimes I would hit 2 or 3 time zones differently in a week. And occasionally I would be adding in international travel. So I may be, let's just say, give you an actual schedule that I had. I was 2 days on the West Coast. Then I was 2 days on the East Coast, and then I got a phone call and said that I had to be in Europe by the end of the week. So that weekend I was in Europe. So you can see the timelines that I basically went through just within that first week. So thought I was good, but then I just started feeling really tired. Didn't know what was happening. You know, I contributed to the fact of just traveling all the time. But then my hair started thinning, and you know, and I started gaining weight. So I knew something was really off, because I was also that individual that liked to at least work out 3 to 4 times a week. In most cases, I was getting 4 to 5 days a week, because that was a way for me that I release a lot of my anxiety and stresses. I love it. You know, that's part of who I am. I didn't have the energy to do that. Just wanted to sleep. So when I went to my doctor, I was told that I had hypothyroidism. And I was given a medication that I was going to be on as I was told, for the rest of my life. That medication at the time was Synthroid. So I'm stepping back and I'm going, okay, I know that there's something natural that I can do. And I'm already taking supplements, but you know what? I wasn't taking the right blend of supplementation. And so I was introduced to Facordin. So I added that. At that point in time, I didn't know anything about 9D essential nutrients. So I added Facordin to my other supplements. And then I kind of just stopped taking some of those other supplements and just started using the Facordin, because I was like, I didn't know what was working. And my doctor had given me the prescription. So I will let you know this right now. I had not gotten it filled at the moment. So when I started drinking the Facordin, which is found in Z-Radical, within 45 days, my energy level increased. Now, when I first started drinking, I felt like a Mack truck had hit me. I was like, oh my God, I can't tell anybody about this stuff. I'm feeling pretty bad, but I was detoxing. So in 45 days, it was like something just lifted up from me and just said, okay, you're good. And I was back to doing what I needed to do. My hair started growing again. The texture of my hair changed. There was so many great things that was happening to me. So I went back and I got my test done, and the doctor said, I need to see you in 3 months. And within 6 months, I said, no problem, I'll be back again. I went back again. She said, well, it seems like the medication that we've given you is really stabilizing your thyroid. So we're going to decrease it a little bit. So I was like, but you told me I would never be able to get off of it. So I finally told her, I pulled out the bottle that she had given me, the prescription. So I did get one bottle finally got one bottle for the prescription filled, but I had only taken 4 tablets out of that. That was it. But I was no longer needing to be on Synthroid. So you can figure out the rest. I gave my body what it needed, and that was the Facordin that was found in Z-Radical, that seaweed, and it helped me to get better. Now, I'm not making any medical claims, but I am here to tell you I gave my body what it needed at the time so that it could heal itself. So all I'm saying to you is that Facordin, with over 2,000 studies on PubMed.gov, the National Library of Medicine, if you drink it the right way or take the capsules the right way, you will give your body the proper nutrition and building blocks that it needs, along with your Healthy Start Pack, for you to be able to feel better. So that's really important that we understand that Facordin, with all of this research from Harvard School of Medicine, where it shows Facordin stops the spread of cancer within 72 hours, causing those cancer cells to self-destruct, which is known as apoptosis. Now, that's Harvard School of Medicine. There's a doctor in Japan, Dr. Owa, who basically compares Facordin to mother's breast milk. Facordin has similar antibodies as mother's breast milk. That's not me talking. That's Dr. Owa from Japan. It also shows research from Johns Hopkins University, foremost research center in the world, Baylor College of Medicine, Duke University. That's research from those institutions. Then you'll see research from Switzerland, from China, from Russia, from so many different institutions, third party, unsolicited study. So not me, that's the information that's backing what we have. You'll see that Facordin has properties in it, such as antiviral, antibacterial, anti-cancer properties. I stated what Harvard School of Medicine has found around Facordin and cancer. Then it also has anticoagulant, antiparasitic, and anti-inflammatory properties, along with anti-aging properties. And at some point in our lives, each of us will want that. Then, of course, as we really begin to think about it working at the cellular level, did you know that you can also use it topically on burns, cuts, mosquito bites? Raymond even had the pink eye at one point, and we put some Facordin, some of the Z-Radical in his eye. And then we also use colloidal silver. So you know what? It works. That's all I can tell you. It works. So when you think about giving your body something that's simple, all you have to do is drink it every day. That's pretty amazing. And people will do it. And then you want them to take it every month. You got to take it drink it for at least 120 days. Now, 90 days is great, but 120 days is what we suggest. Why? Because it's working at the cellular level. Cells regenerate every day, but they recycle every 120 days. Give your body what it needs. Watch your body heal itself. Now, the story that really got my husband and I so excited to really go out here and share with others so that we could help change this world to make it a better place, to really fulfill the dream of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, which Dr. Wallach feels that he needs to take that flag and carry on as far as Black health in the community or health care for Americans, minority Americans, people of color in their communities, to help to address the fact of what we should be doing with our health to live longer, to live younger, longer. So yes, I want to carry that torch. You see, my sister-in-law basically was told that she should go home and get her life in order. She was diagnosed with 4th stage breast cancer. You see, when we hear the word cancer here in the US, we think death sentence. That's immediately what we all think. When we should be thinking, okay, that's just another dis-ease. So let's see what we can do to make sure that we do the right thing. So we gave her much more than 4 ounces a day because we wanted to be aggressive. We heard Dr. Wallach say, when you've got something going on into your body and your house is on fire, you have to use a fire hose and not a squirt gun. So that's exactly what we did. 16 ounces a day, as much as she could drink. She was given about 8 weeks or so to live. I tell my husband, I remember them saying anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks. So I'm just going to use 8 weeks. But I just know this, in 5 weeks, we sent hospice home. And that's been about 20 years ago, and she's still living cancer-free. She gave her body what it needed. Yes, we got aggressive with it, but you have to ask yourself, how important is your health? We go out here, we buy shoes, we get anything that we want, but material-wise, we go buy it. But when it comes down to our health, got to think about that for a moment. Really? So you'd rather look good on the outside and be really feeling horrible on the inside? And you can't take none of that stuff with you when we leave here. Do you see a U-Haul driving behind a hearse? None of this is going with us, but that soul. So you might as well make a decision whether you want to make it good or you want to make it better. I want you to do better. I want you to live better. I want you to give your body what it needs so you can go out here and you can help us to change the world. There's so much that we've got to tell the world before the world tells us. It is up to us to share with others what we have. And if they want it, great. If they don't, it's okay. Just like today, you're going to take what you like from today and leave the rest. There are some things that I've said that you may not agree with, but there are some things that you may agree with. So that's what you run with. But I can only tell you this, that it works, and that Facordin, found in Z-Radical, with this company, is changing lives. So you can help us now, or you can help us later. Just help us. So with that, I'm going to flip it back to you, Hattie, and I hope that was around the time that you needed. I'm hoping that I gave them as much information as you want. Is there anything else you want me to talk about when it comes down to FACORD? And I can stay here all day, but I know Dr. Shannon's got to talk and Dr. Wallace got to talk.
First of all, I just got to applaud you because that was just so powerful. And I know you have blessed everybody who's out there listening. And you touched on a number of the questions that they've asked. I just want you to know that when we start the next set of questions and answers, you, Dr. Walling, and Dr. Randy will be answering those questions. Because I know people got some questions for you. I want to know more about this breast milk, right? Especially since when they had that shortage of breast milk, mamas was feeding their babies all kinds of stuff. Babies getting really sick because they were trying to figure it out. Well, so yeah, so we're going to come back to you. So just be at peace. When Dr. Randy speaks, all three of you will be on the stage together, and we'll take on the rest of the questions that have come up. Okay.
Thank you so very much.
No, sis. Thank you. Love you. Yes. I know y'all got fired up over that because I know I did. And just a simple thing, it's up to us. It's up to us to take control over our health. No one else. No one else. And, it's when my sister, just before she made her transition, and I said to her, it's like she's been going to the doctors all her life. 30, 40 years she's been going and just got worse and worse and worse. And I said, Pete, please. I say, sis, if you just do this, you're going to have a better outcome. Well, my doctor said, or my doctor didn't tell me, so it must not be true. But to the very last moment, I said to her, I says, Pete, let me help you. And she says, Lorraine, it's too late now. It's just too late now. Brothers and sisters, I'm saying, let's not get there. It's not too late. But the thing that what happens is we be sick so freaking long that we just get freaking tired. We're like, you know what? But that doesn't have to be our reality. That's the power of what we're talking about today. We can have longevity. We can live on this planet long, but healthy, right? Because that's what it's all about. And more importantly than that, we have to do it for our babies. They don't need to suffer unnecessarily. So all of us are getting the tools so we can help ourselves, but also help our future generations. This is a win-win. So the next person I want to bring to the fore is Dr. Randy Shannon. Awesome naturopathic doctor. And the thing that's unique about her is that she looks at you. I know I got to a point after I became a certified practitioner of natural medicine. It was difficult for me to look at people. Because when I looked at them, I kept saying, oh, there's the kidneys. Oh, my God, the heart is out of whack. Oh, this is going on. Right? But this is what she does. She looks at people's face. She'll look in your throat, your mouth, your hands, your nails, because your outward appearance is really an example of your organs. And she can look at you and tell you where you are deficient. She can look at you and say, you know what? You need to do something about this because it's showing all over your face. So I wanted her to be here so we get another idea of the power of natural medicine and the different ways that we have before us to find out what's going on with us. So Dr. Randy, take the floor, honey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm just honored to be on here with this great theme of a program. So hopefully I'll impart some wisdom here and some great interest, because what people don't know is that their faces, their fingernails, their tongues, their eyes, their ears, all of these things tell a story about what's going on in the body with particular organs. So when I do look at a new client, when they come on board with me, I ask them for pictures of their fingernails, of their tongue, the top and the bottom, and then I look at the face as well. If they have other marks of concern on the body, I take a look at that. So they're sending me pictures. People do not come to me. I don't have a walk-in clinic. When the lockdowns happened, that's when I changed everything. I was actually lecturing all over the country. And of course, all of the lectures came to a screeching halt. And so I decided, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Instead of going into hotels, I'm going to just have people send things to me. And it's amazing. So the face, for example, when I look at the face is going to tell me all kinds of things, large and small intestine. And what am I saying about it? I'm seeing if there's an issue, if there's some kind of disarray going on in that organ, it's going to put a line on the face. I see the stomach, I see the adrenals, liver, kidney, the heart shows up, the pancreas, the spleen, all of these things will show up there. And in the fingernails, there's actually high indicators of cancers. Internal bleeding will show. Different nutrient deficiencies show up in that area as well. And hormonal imbalances, circulatory issues, osteoporosis. It's pretty amazing. And the thing is these things were never taught to us in school. And then on top of that, we were given the wrong food pyramid. What we were taught was a lie. And so you've got people starting, as small children, and they're not getting the right diet. And then when their bodies are breaking down, they have no idea what those signs are to look for. So, when you talk to Dr. Wallach, he listens to you and he hears you say, okay, the doctor diagnosed me with this. I listen to that too. I like to hear symptoms. He wants to hear that diagnosis. And sometimes if it's a name he hasn't heard of, because there's a lot of doctors out there that love to name a disease after them. And so that doesn't tell us exactly what's going on. So he'll listen to that and he'll give a protocol. And I take it another step further, where if they want to take care of all the organs that are in disarray, they come to somebody like me. And the thing is this is 5,000-year-old original medicine. The MD model has only been around since the early 1900s. So they are actually alternative medicine. What I do is original medicine. Naturopathy is original medicine. And if we knew to look for these signs in advance, for example, things will show up on the tongue. And if they're taken care of, then they won't put a line on the face. It won't go that far. But by the time it makes it to the face, it's another level of extreme of an organ that's in disarray. Let's take the spleen, for example. I never really get into it exactly what it is I'm looking for, but I can see if the spleen is a possibility from the tongue. And then I take it to the face. And if I see a certain line in a very specific place on the face, then I know I now have a double confirmation that the spleen is in trouble. What's the spleen do? Well, the spleen actually filters toxins out of our blood. And so we need that to be functioning properly. And so then I'll put down on a protocol exactly what nutrients are needed to get that spleen back up and running to its full potential. And that's what we want. So I get people that come to me, excuse me, with, everything from autoimmunes to the cancers to ED and prostate was mentioned earlier. I had a stage 4 client come to me, prostate cancer, and in literally 90 days, he was already reversed of the stage 4. Same thing with diabetics. Blood sugar issues, bone joint issues take a little bit longer, but relief is coming quickly when we see it and when we address it. So I listen to people and what they tell me, like, oh, I was 5'5", now I'm probably 5'4", maybe 5'3". And so I'll ask, were you in an accident? Do you have any titanium put in? Things like that. And if the answer is no, then I know that they're shrinking, and I know that I'm going to look for certain things on the body that will double, triple confirm that indeed there's osteoporosis going on if they have not gone to a medical doctor and had that diagnosed. And the thing is, a doctor is going to give a drug for that. And the whole goal as a naturopathic doctor is to get them off of all of the drugs, get them on the nutrients, like one that was just talked about, but there's a whole array of different things that can be used to really super target whatever that ailment is. Does that make sense? I don't know if you're still there. So I just threw into the chat, you know, how to reach me. I'm not looking to sign anybody up, but if somebody wants to become a client to get an analysis, I do that and then send you back to whoever actually invited you onto this call and for this information. And that's what I do in a nutshell. And my clients are all over the world in about 18 different countries at this point. I've had people come to me. And the whole goal is to get you off all prescription drugs. And it's my firm belief and the experience I've had that if you were not born with it, then it is indeed reversible. And of course, diet and things go along with that. You definitely want to follow the good and bad food list, which is no wheat, barley, rye, or oatmeal, no fried foods, no foods cooked in any oils. And that's a biggie that people don't understand. So picture taking a bite out of an apple. When you take a bite out of an apple, if you let that sit on the counter for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, it starts to turn brown. It's oxidizing. Oils in a bottle do the same exact thing. They oxidize. And so they become bad for our insides. And so we want to not eat those oils in a bottle. When is a coconut oil good to eat? When you crack that coconut open and you eat that oil in the next 15 or 30 minutes, an hour, I'm all about that. It's fantastic. It has incredible health benefits. But once it gets beyond that, then it's oxidized. And therefore, you're asking for trouble on the inside of the body. Same for almond oils. And if you look at all of these oils, they've become fads. I know my grandmother, great-grandmother, etc., they cooked in the kitchen with tallow, beef tallow, and lard. And so they didn't have all these heart issues that we have today. Now we have almond oil, coconut oil, olive oil, etc. All of these are rotten and rancid. They're actually pumped full of gases so they don't taste rotten or rancid. So it tricks you into thinking that it's okay, and indeed it is not. So you want to throw those out and start cooking with butter. Or if you're super industrious and you want to crack that coconut and pull the oil off, and you want to have that oil in your diet, very fresh, that's okay. That's okay with me to do that, because there is so many good benefits out of that. But down the road, no, it's not. Once it's started to oxidize, that's it. You've got to get rid of it because it harms the body. So you want to eat lots of eggs. These are all things that Dr. Wallach talks about. I am definitely an understudy of Dr. Wallach. I've worked with other doctors around the country, 3 trauma ER doctors, a doctor of acupuncture, celebrity holistic chef, and nobody had everything, whereas Dr. Wallach had it all. The trauma ER doctors, every one of them, super bad shape, very unhealthy, all of them in their late 50s to early 60s. Nobody was going to, sadly, live to their full potential of life. They're all kind of stumbling around, everybody on prescription drugs, things breaking down in the body because their diets are bad. They don't remove all of the bad things. And I always tell my clients, if your doctor doesn't look good at all, he doesn't look healthy, then you really don't want to be taking advice from somebody who isn't living that life. I'm 55 years old, and I say this all the time, that I don't color my hair. At 55, I still have super blonde hair, as blonde as when I was a little kid. And that's because I'm getting the appropriate nutrients into my body. And I have great absorption because I've gotten rid of all the wheat, barley, rye, and oatmeal, and even the buckwheat. I never actually ate that one, but that's another one to come off the list. And that's because when they go through our bodies, they go through like a wrecking ball. And by the time they make it to the small intestine, which is supposed to look like a shaggy rug, they actually mow down what we call the villi in there, which is trillions of grass-like structures. Those are our absorbers They absorb the nutrients into our body. And when we don't have them, that small intestine becomes like a glass cylinder and everything just goes right through. And so you're not absorbing. And guess what your body will do? When that's in trouble, it'll throw a line on your face. And then that fuels the whole cosmetic industry, especially in America. Tons of people go to these cosmetic people and get Botox filled in on their face. And all they're really doing is covering up the evidence of the crime, the scene of the crime. It's not a wrinkle. It's actually an organ. So we have to pay attention to those things. I have a course coming up that starts April 15th. You can call the toll-free number or reach out at the website, find out about that. You can find out about my analysis right there at the website. The body can. Why is it the body can? Because the body can heal itself if it's given the appropriate nutrients. Me, Dr. Wallach, Hattie, none of us are curing a person. We can't do that. We just have the knowledge to get the appropriate nutrients to the people so that then their body takes over and gets to work and starts to reverse that issue, whatever it might be. So please call, get scheduled, get questions answered. And if I can help in any way, that's what I do all day long. So thank you so much for having me on here.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so very much, Dr. Randy. I appreciate you. Yes. And I'm sure you will be getting a lot of inquiries.
Anything I can do to help, that would be great.
Ashe. So I want to let people know that the number that you can call or text would be great. It's 484-312-0248. And we will make sure that you get to Dr. Randy or you get to Yolanda Brown and of course, Dr. Wallach. So I have been a practitioner of natural medicine since 2010. I got my first certification from a Life of Peace Institute in Texas, where Dr. Layla Africa, Dr. Akua Gray, and Dr. Afua in New York, Queen Afua in New York, created this course for us. But I've recently gotten recertified under the Institute of Holistic Health, which means that I have been able to be mentored, guided, and learn from one of the best, i.e. Dr. Joel Wallach. Phenomenal course. And it's a course I'm going to ask. I think everybody should be a part of it. Why? We need health warriors in our community. We need health coaches in every home, every neighborhood, every block, so that we can continue to teach, educate, show by example how to heal. My thing is healing is easy. Give the body what it needs and get the hell out the way. And let it do God's work. And that's what our holistic wellness course is all about. We want to create certified holistic health warriors to take what you're learning today, spread it out all around the world. Because the biggest job is healing our nation, one family at a time. So you can again call that number. Let us know what your interest is, and we'll get back to you. The other thing I want to let you know is I have what's called a health evaluation. I would like to offer that for free to anyone who texts that number. What does the health evaluation do? It asks you questions about what's going on in your temple, powerful questions. And then it will give you a score on where your health is. And it'll let you know what you're deficient in. Everybody should have it. Everybody should have that to know where you are. So everybody that texts the number, what did I say? 484-312-0248. I can't find it. Oh, here we go. 484-312-0248. So text that number so we can get you a health evaluation. We'll also send you out Dr. Wallach's Good Food, Bad Food list and Dead Doctors Don't Lie audio. So those are some phenomenal gifts for those of you who've registered and who text the number. So without further ado, I would like to bring on all three of our panelists so that we collectively can answer the questions that people want to have answered. One particular woman asks, she says, please help me. She says, she says she's had a history with blood clots. She just had her second aneurysm. And she wants to know, where does blood clots come from? Her doctors say they come from eating green leafy vegetables, which we know ain't true. So she wants some education. Why is she getting these blood clots? Do she have to take blood thinners off for the rest of her life? Talking stick is in your hands.
Me, okay. You want me to start?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me just give you a brief thing on aneurysms and blood clots. Aneurysms are caused by a deficiency of a particular mineral. That same mineral deficiency that causes aneurysm is a breakdown of the elastic fibers in your artery, so the artery just dilates into a bubble, which is an aneurysm, can burst and bleed to death. It also produces white hair, white, gray, and silver hair. So white, gray, and silver hair is not due to aging, it's due to a deficiency of that same nutrient. So you take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, and the hair color starts coming back. That aneurysm just tones up and tightens right up, goes back down to the normal size. And it's one of those things where it happens very quickly. The body has a great capacity to heal itself given the right stuff. And people say, well, which one is it? Which one is it? And I used to tell people which one it was 40, 50 years ago. They'd run to the store and they'd buy that one mineral. Then I'd call and say, you know, Julie, I haven't heard from you and Roy for a while. What's going on with Roy? Oh, he took that mineral you talked about, and 3 months later he was dead. That's because he was missing 89 of the 90 essential nutrients. So now I just tell him to take the 90 essential nutrients, and then we have a secret sauce, the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets that goes along with it for the aneurysm. We do have healthy, or hair, skin, and nails. You take the hair, skin, and nails. The hair color comes back. The aneurysm sort of tones up. The skin gets healthier. But you still need those 90 essential nutrients. And of course, the basic core is a Healthy Start Pack, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 omega-3 fatty acids. When you get the big hammer, we call it, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, it has 215 nutrients in it, but 90 are still the core Healthy Start Pack. And so, but at any rate, that's why I don't tell people which one it is, because everybody wants to know, which one is it? Well, that's why we have the books and the CDs and the DVDs. You can read that stuff, okay? But you're reading it in context of a total recipe. You know, it's kind of like if your favorite cake is a chocolate cake, which one is it? Well, it says chocolate. Well, what about all the other ingredients? Okay, same principle there. Okay, so with that, don't forget the good food, bad food list. You got to get rid of all the bad stuff so you can absorb the good stuff. That's equally important. And so there's two pieces to the puzzle. Avoid the bad stuff so you can absorb the good stuff, and then you have to take the good stuff, but you have to take the whole recipe plus whatever secret sauce is necessary for that issue. Okay, back to you.
Ashe. So, and if anyone else want to add to that, because she also asked about someone else asked about varicose veins, which I think is the same protocol, Dr. Wallach?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because varicose veins, you know, the veins, instead of being a long, straight vein, they get all wibbly. And because, again, the elastic fibers are not maintaining themselves because they're missing those nutrients. And so the vein, instead of being long and straight, it gets to be a triple S, you know, S kind of thing, because all the elastic fibers are gone.
Awesome. Does anyone else want to add to this discussion? Please.
I didn't hear if you said actually Niacin Plus and Ultimate Daily Classic. I think you probably did say Ultimate Test. Those are things that I absolutely love, but you're 100%. You get an A+, Dr. Wallach. I always love telling him that because he's told me that 1,000 times. So it's so fun. But those are some of the things that I like to give. I love the Niacin Plus because it has 3 cofactors in it, and it dilates all the veins, capillaries, and blood vessels, etc. So if there is a blockage, I love that it opens that all up and allows the blood to flow through to the other side. And it also chisels away at whatever blockage might be in there. So I do like that. And then between that and the Ultimate Daily Classic, they pick up that broken up trash, if you will, and just washes it out through the bloodstream. So it's pretty amazing. I love having that in there.
Yeah, that's well said. And of course, the actual cause of a blood clot is a nutritional deficiency.
Yes, always. Yep.
Okay, so that's why we like the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, because it's a lot of that nutrient that prevents blood clots. Which one is it? Which one is it? Well, you just have to take it all. Read the book and it'll tell you.
He ain't gonna let us cheat. Okay. There's a lot of interest in. They want to have a discussion around why is it that there's such a high rate of high blood pressure and diabetes in the Black community.
Okay, well, I can start off with that. Just basically, it's a dietary thing. Diabetes is a very simple nutritional deficiency. High blood pressure is a nutritional deficiency plus inflammation, cooking styles. And so that's where the good food, bad food list comes in. Okay. And that's where, again, the 90 essential nutrients come in. High blood pressure is very simple. That's why we have the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets that goes along with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. High blood pressure, blocked arteries, that's all dealt with. And then type 2 diabetes, which makes up 98 to 99% of the diabetic population, is a simple nutritional deficiency. I take people who've been type 2 diabetics, oh gosh, for 25 years. We put them on our Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, which is a Healthy Start Pack, the 90 essential nutrients plus our sweeties, throw that in there. And in 2 weeks' time, they're able to cut their medication in half. And in 2 more weeks' time, they're totally off their medication after 25 years of being on medication. Now, how's a doctor going to make a living? Don't you feel bad?
So that doctor would have made in America somewhere around $750,000 per client. We won't make anywhere near that, but we're okay with that. We just like to get people healthy. It's a different frame of mind in how you're actually thinking about that person, your fellow man.
And Yolanda, what has been your experience with Z Radical and?
Well, see, what I would basically say, whatever protocol there is, we will always add Z Radical. And the reason for that is simple, is that it does help to build your immune system. And again, it's working at the cellular level. So for us, it is part of what we do in all products that we take. It's in addition to. So now, and I'm sure Dr. Randy and Dr. Wallach would say okay to that. So, but that's the bottom line. You got to give your body what it needs. See, what we found is that some people will say that they're going to take all this stuff and they don't. Then they go out here and tell people that our products don't work. But what we find is that they will drink something and they will be consistent with that. Then all of a sudden they'll say, oh, I probably do need all this other stuff to make it all work right, you know? And we go, well, yeah, but we got them to at least see that they have to take something every day. And then all of a sudden we have folks on the Healthy Start Pack, well, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and Z Radical. And guys, again, I think Dr. Wallach and Dr. Shannon will say this, if they do nothing else but that for right now, they will begin to see a difference in their health. And isn't that what we're all about? Is helping people to begin to see that they can feel better with what we have. And then their trust grows in us and we can add the other products because now they believe. That's where we have to start, is with that belief. We want to give them hope, and that hope that hope now delivers itself to faith. And that means that they will be on it for the rest of their life. And that's what, for us, that's what it's all about.
Ashe. Now, Yolanda, I know you have to leave, and I just wanted to just take a minute just to thank you, for real, for being a part of this phenomenal panel of experts and sharing what you shared from your heart, and it's made a difference.
Well, thank you. I would not know half of this stuff. I wouldn't, in particular, about our body needing 5 times more minerals and vitamins if it were not for,
Yes.
so please understand that. And I would also just let everyone know how open he was in welcoming us to the family here at Youngevity and really getting behind our product because he believes in it. And we believe in the 90 for life, and we believe in him. And then there's Dr. Shannon coming right back up, supporting what he's doing. So you've got the perfect folks to answer your questions. But if there's anything specific to Z that you want, that someone has later on, please don't hesitate to let me know. But again, the research, what I'm basically quoting, is on PubMed.gov. So if there are questions, go to PubMed.gov, type in for coordinating cancer, sinus, allergy, colds, flu, whatever it is, and see what the research is there. But if you want to get it straight and you don't want nobody pulling back, just call Dr. Wallach. That's all you got to do.
Straight, no chaser. But thank you so much, sis. I just want to thank you.
Well, we've got another call that we're about to do similar to this, but we just want to say thank you, Dr. Wallach. Thank you, Dr. Shannon. Hattie, you've done your first one. You can do many more. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're just going to take 2 more questions, Dr.
Okay.
Wallach.
Well, thank you, Dr. Hattie. Thank you for all you're doing here. I do want to back up quickly what Yolanda said. And of course, the Z radical is a great anti-inflammatory. If you have any inflammation, okay, you have thyroid issues, you have edema and swelling, in addition to the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, throw that Z radical in there. And when I travel, I take the Fucoid Z, which is a tablet form of Z radical. Okay, so you can get it in tablets or the liquid.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. So the last 2 questions we're going to take before we round this out is someone has had, 3 strokes. Okay, let me just, there's three strokes. And then the other question was lymphoderma. And I think someone wants you to talk about, they're told they needed a hip replacement. So lymphedema, do they need to have a knee replacement? And what do you do about stroke? She's had 3 of them.
Okay, well, I'll start out and then get it to Dr. Randy. She's very, very good at this. But just briefly, strokes are caused by blood clots, okay? And that's where nutrients prevent the blood clots. So again, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, stay away from the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, bran, rye, oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. And that's why we came out with the book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. There's 300 pages of recipes and safe cooking methods, okay? There's 300 pages of Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. And that book constantly flies out the door because people need to have that information. But they do need the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack because they need those nutrients to prevent blood clots. So that's what causes blood clots, is those nutritional deficiencies. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. You can read it in the book, okay? But if I told you which one it was, they just run to the store and buy that one nutrient instead of doing the whole thing.
You know we got to cheat, Dr. Wallach. Come on now.
And you know, the problem too with just running to the store and buying that is
it's not synthetic.
A lot, yeah, they have gluten and other things in them, and they could be doing themselves more of a disservice by buying something that's actually toxic to the body. So if it's coming out of China, I don't trust it. They sold Chinese drywall down here in Florida, and it killed a lot of people. They sold flip-flops to little kids at Walmart and gave them 3rd-degree chemical burns. So I don't have a trust for them. But Dr. Wallach being behind these nutrients, we know that there's no corners being cut. So that right there is everything. So, and for the lymphedema, if they're cheating the diet and they're getting gluten, that's probably the main reason why that has begun. And so we definitely have things damming up in the return flow, and we've got to get that all cleaned up so that things are circulating the right way. So it starts with no wheat, barley, rye, or oatmeal, no fried foods, no foods cooked in any oils, no processed meats, et cetera, et cetera. Get the egg intake up, get the salt intake up. That's another one where the medical doctors tell people not to put the salt in the body. But if you think about a runner or an athlete, a lot of times if they, they're running and they collapse, the first thing they do is get salts in the body. If you go to the emergency room, first thing they do is set up a saline bag. Salt is important. Salt is incredibly important. And Dr. Wallach has stated it. The Japanese culture, they have half our cancers, half our disease, and they eat the equivalent of a salt shaker a day. So here in America, we get something like 1 to 3 grams of salt. Japanese are eating 12 to 15 grams of salt. Drastic difference. So when I learned that, I started to take way more salt and put it into my diet. Way more salt. And my friends, especially bodybuilder friends, they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to retain water. They throw all these things at you that they've heard that are lies. Mm-hmm. And we have to go back to the basics. As Dr. Wallach says, when they put that salt lick out into the field for the cows, nobody's out there telling that cow he can only have one lick. He's not licking all the way to having water retention. That's just so hilarious. Stephen Emmett, put that picture in your mind. So cows out there licking too much salt and has water retention. It's just, these things are silly. They're silly. And we just have to take a step back and think about it and go, yeah, that's absolute bunk. It's bunk.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was well said. Thank you, Dr. Randy. I should tell you, there's one great story that one of the first nutritional supplements a couple of thousand years ago was sea salt. People on the coast would evaporate salt water and they get the sea salt and they take it inland and sell it. And people that had goiters the size of a grapefruit, on their neck, you could see it. Within a couple of weeks, that goiter would go away. Now, they didn't know what it was in the sea salt that caused the goiter to go away, but they knew that sea salt would make a goiter go away.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some minerals in there. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. You can read it. You can look it up and read it. But I don't want people just running to the store and buying that one mineral. They have, they have to do the whole 90. But sea salt was the original.
Yeah.
Let's see here, nutritional supplement that was sold on the market.
It was like gold.
It was like gold. Yep.
I share. So I just wanted to show this again. And Bliss, if you could put up Dr. Wallach's link where people can go to order his books.
There you go.
That's it? Okay. And when people can go to order his book, that'd be awesome. And so, wow, I think we've done a phenomenal job, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to thank you right now.
Okay.
We're gonna end with a song by India Arie that's called "What If." What if Dr. King hadn't done what he did? If he hadn't stood up? What if Dr. Wallach had not studied to be the healer that he is today? What if he hadn't written a book that gives us 600 diseases that we can learn from to know how to prevent them or reverse them? That's powerful. What if he had not created the Institute of Holistic Health that allows us to have more healers in our community and in our world? What if we don't take a stand for our health individually, but also collectively? The Creator put us on the planet to live a life full of joy and love and peace, justice, equality. We got to see that through to the end. And what that looks like is creating a world where our babies can live in a world like that. We got to stay around as long as we can. But we definitely don't want to be leaving here over diseases that is freaking preventable, right? Well, we have a control over it, right? That's not an option because it doesn't have to be. So I just want to thank you, Dr. Wallach, Dr. Randy, for sharing your time with us. I've gotten text messages, people telling me, oh my God, Dr. Wallach spitting live, Dr. Wallach spitting truth. Oh my God, Dr. Randy, listen, social media is blowing up, okay? You are firing people up. They have not heard this information before. So you guys have truly blessed a lot of people, and I just want to thank you. So Angel Bliss, do we want to play? Am I missing anything? Or can we play What If as we leave here? And I just want to say, call the number, text the number, so you can get Dr. Wallach's good food, bad food list. Text us to let us know if you're interested in getting your health evaluation, so we can begin to put you on a course of healing. Okay? So, and also let us know you want to reach out, you want to connect with Dr. Randy because she's phenomenal, right? Whatever you need, text us, right? Okay. So Bliss, what if?